Okay, right. If we can come back to the board then, please. Right, we're going to now look at question 4. Okay, and as I said earlier, or Mr. Chuba said earlier, right, don't worry if you're getting these wrong. Okay, you need to sort of make sure you put the corrections down and score it properly. Okay, if you're getting it wrong, well, it just shows what you need to work on. Okay, there's no need to sort of change the answers, okay, so that they're correct. You know, when you get in the marks, just put down your score honestly, and obviously then write down the corrections with a purple pen, all right? Because this is going to benefit you. If we look at number 4, right? 4A. Now this obviously really does rely on a calculator, okay? You know, it's pretty difficult to work out 38% of 15.6 without a calculator. So that's why it's in this particular paper. Now, there are quite a few ways of working out 38% on your calculator. What a lot of us do in the maths department is we change 38% to a decimal, okay? 38% is 0.38. Now I know some of you use a fraction. That's okay as well, as long as you get the fraction right. Of course, 38% is the same as 38. Well, the clue is in the word, isn't it? Percent, per, out of, cent, 100, right? So you could use that on your calculator as well, using the fraction button, but better really if you can just use a decimal because it's much more straightforward. The word of, okay, we should know what of means now when it comes to calculations. Of just means times, and then you've got to put 15.6 in. Okay, so if I do that on my calculator, I'm going to do 0.38 times 15.6. And I get out, you notice that I get a fraction out on this Casio calculator. So press that SD button there, and it gives me the answer then as 5.928. Okay, so I write that down. It is important to check what context this question is set in. And what I mean by that is, have a look what we're calculating here. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes you see a pound symbol here. Okay. So if it was money in a pound symbol, you'd need to make sure you have 2 decimal places after the point. Okay? But here, of course, it isn't. It's just a normal number, so you leave the full answer as it is, right? You write down the full answer. Okay, part B, it says, right, express 52 as a percentage of 80. Now, first of all, you need to write this. Okay? Don't worry about percentage. Don't worry about that word percentage or express. Don't worry about that to start with. Just write that down, just like you'd have in a test. For instance, this test is out of 80, isn't it? And at the end, you will write down the mark that you get out of 80. Right? That's what you're doing. You write the 52 out of 80. Of course, then we're interested to know what that is as a percentage. Now, on a non-calculator paper, we would teach you to scale it. So we try and change. We're trying to find an equivalent fraction that's out of 100, okay? Of course, it's quite difficult to do that when you've got 80 on the bottom. And you don't need to do that with a calculator paper. With a calculator paper, you just simply use the basic rules we've learned before. To change a fraction into a percentage, you just times by 100, okay? So if I get my calculator out, now 52 over 80, okay, if I press that fraction button there, that one there, okay, a lot of you have been using that. I can write in 52 on the top, press the arrow down, 80 on the bottom, press the arrow then across, times 100, and I get out the answer, look, 65. Okay, now in terms of marks for this, of course, 2 marks for the full answer. If you haven't got 65% out, but you've written this sort of calculation, you would have still got a mark. Okay, next question. Right, now this one, okay, this one isn't actually difficult. You've just got to do what the question says. Obviously, if you notice up the top, you've got this italic writing up here. Now, they used to call this QWC. You probably heard that in other subjects as well. But now they've changed it to OCW. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. What you need to realise is there are an extra 2 marks to get based on how you present your answer. Okay, so be aware of that because you can get 6 marks on this question. And when you read it, it says the 2 shaded rectangles. Okay, so that one is shaded and that one is shaded. Below are to be drawn on a white square card of length 9 centimeters. Okay, the 2 rectangles should not overlap. Show clearly how this can be done and calculate the area of the square card that will be unshaded. Now, if we focus on this white square here, it is a square, don't forget. So I could write 9 here as well. Okay. Now, all I've got to do, quite simply, is place these 2 rectangles on here. Okay. Now, perhaps what I'll do is I'll focus on the larger, slightly larger one first to see how that could fit on. Okay, so I'm going to get pencil and ruler, right? And you don't have to draw this to scale, okay? Because you can see here it's not drawn to scale anyway. This is just a sketch. But I'm going to draw a rectangle that will fit on this card. You can clearly see my scale is fairly accurate in that I've made the length of the rectangle to be 8. Okay? I've made the length of the rectangle to be 8 because that's what it is, this shaded one there, 8, and that will fit in because of course my square is 9 centimeters long. The width of it is 4. So now everything fits in. For that first rectangle that's shaded. You can shade it in if you want, okay? So that you're clear on what's going on. The second rectangle, you have to be careful where this is going to be fitted in, okay? Now, you can't, if you think about it carefully, you can't put this rectangle as it is here, going across horizontally. It won't fit in, because if you think about it, that only counts for 1 centimeter. Got the length of the rectangle square is 9, this rectangle is 8, so you've only got 1 centimeter left. You're not going to fit that in. So what you're going to need to do is rotate this around, okay, rotate it around so that it'll fit in vertically, okay. That will then be 2 centimeters across, 7 centimeters high. Okay, it's not a difficult question, right? That's all they're asking for. Okay, and you've explained your work there. That will help towards getting these extra OCW marks because you know I've used a ruler. I've been tidy in my presentation. I've sort of put the lengths of the sides, and I've explained as well. You can see here. You might not think this means much, but I've actually explained this bit at the top here. I've said, look, there's 1 centimeter left over. Because I tried to make that clear then by writing 1 there. I'm showing really that you can't fit this rectangle because the width is 2. You can't fit it in that gap. So I've been clear there in my explanation on a diagram. Okay. Now, once you've done all of that, it says then calculate the area of the square card that will be left unshaded. Now, there's several ways you can do this. One way I suggest is quite simply work out the area to start with of the square. Okay? Of course, we know with a square or a rectangle, it's just length times width. Okay? That's the general formula. With a square, of course, they're both the same. 9 times 9. So you know you could use a calculator to check that as well, just in case. You get 81 centimeters squared. What you could do then, once you've worked out the area of the whole square, is work out then the area of each of these rectangles. Okay? Okay, so you can do area of, should we call it, maybe we'll call it the large rectangle. Okay? If you go back, if you look at the top, you've got the length of that to be 8, the width to be 4. So it will be 8 times 4, which is 32 centimetres squared. And then I'll do the area of the small rectangle, which is 7 times 2. Okay? 7 times 2, the length and the width, and that comes out to be 14. Now, my advice here with this now, of course, you've got the area of the 2 shaded rectangles. Perhaps now you can work out the total of the shaded. Okay? The total of the shaded rectangles. Just by adding those 2 up. Okay? Now, if you think about it carefully, the area of that shaded there, both rectangles now together, is 46. The area of the bigger square is 81. To work out what's remaining, we can just take them away. Okay? So the unshaded area we can write as 81, take away 46. Okay, and you know, use your calculator, right? You know, I know it's not a difficult calculation to make, but it is a calculator paper, so make full use of your calculator, centimetres squared. Okay? That would be the answer. Now you would get the marks for getting the answer here. You would get 4 marks for getting the right answer at the end. Okay? But even if you don't get this answer, you will still get you will get a mark for working out the area of the square. Okay? You will get a mark for working out the area of both of these rectangles. Okay? Or if you've just worked out one of them, it would be worth 1 mark. So you get a mark here, a mark here, a mark for taking them away, and a mark for the answer. For the OCW, I want to see things like this. Okay? I want to see everything annotated, so everything explained what you're doing throughout, and of course the diagram needs to be really neat. Okay, so if you can please go on to question 6. If you just do number 6, calculator question.